If you understand the universal laws, you are understanding the coding and software and programming of this universe. When we understand the way these laws work, it aids us and enables us to properly create the realities that we want. Working in harmony with the universal laws is the key. In this audiobook, we are going to talk about the law of expression. The law of expression says that when you add up all the parts of something, you get the whole thing. Divine science is a special kind of knowledge that comes from a divine source. It's all about understanding the truth that everything is connected as one. This knowledge is based on the idea of being and how things express themselves. Divine science shows that the unity of the Creator, the one who made everything, the actions of creation, and everything created can be understood like a science. This understanding gives believers a sense of peace and a constant connection to the source of everything. The law of expression is like a simple rule. Things come in threes. For example, two things that are opposite can't exist in the same place at the same time, like light and darkness or health and sickness, love and hate, good and evil, God and the devil. They can't be together. Everything is good and everything is connected. Science is valuable because it's always reliable, it never changes, and it can be used everywhere. People prefer having clear principles over uncertain opinions. We like to think of the unchanging source and reason behind everything as God. There's no better basis that could satisfy our need to understand things logically. In any structure, like a building, the most important part is its foundation. So, what should we base our lives on? It has to be something solid, like the one ultimate source of everything. The strength and stability of our lives depend on how strong and unchanging this foundation is. Science provides such a foundation, one that lasts forever. God is everywhere, and we're always with Him from forever ago to forever in the future. This shows that God and humans are connected because wherever God is, we are too. It's like I'm in God and God is in me. Humans can't exist as the opposite of God. Understanding the true nature of things around us is the new and living way of knowledge. It's about being aware of what's really real and what things are truly like. If we don't rely on what's real and always there, we won't have a solid foundation for peace or faith, believing in things we hope for. Without a clear understanding of what's true, we can't find our way out of darkness or prove that things like sin, sickness, and death are real. Sometimes, it seems like there are two completely different ways of thinking that both claim to show unity, but in reality, only one of them can be true. Let's take a look at an example to understand this better. Long ago, some people believed that the earth was flat like a pancake. They thought that the sun moved around it, creating day and night. This idea might sound reasonable at first, but through careful observation and understanding, we've come to know that it's not true. Knowledge gained over time has shown us that the earth is actually round, like a ball. It spins on its axis, which makes the sun appear to rise in the east and set in the west. This movement gives us day and night. Even though some may still hold on to the belief that the earth is flat, their mistake doesn't change the truth. No matter how strongly someone believes something that isn't true, it doesn't alter the reality of the situation. This way of thinking applies to many aspects of life. No mistake in calculation or misunderstanding can change the truth about something. It's essential to rely on observation, study, and understanding to uncover what's really true. Thinking something false doesn't make it real. Some people might argue that as long as they believed the earth was flat, it was true for them. But when they learned the truth, they realized their belief was wrong. Claiming that their old false belief was just as valuable as their new knowledge doesn't really appreciate the importance of knowing the truth. Some people try to make God responsible for both truth and error, saying that only God can believe something false. They try to fit God into their old false beliefs, but this doesn't make sense. If we want to overcome falsehoods that come from God, we would have to be superior to God, which doesn't make sense because God is supposed to be the ultimate truth. Their foundation is always changing as they keep evolving and growing. They believe that what's true today might not be true tomorrow. Because of this, their basis for unity is like sand shifting in the wind. This way of thinking can't be proven scientific or true. It doesn't provide a stable foundation for thinking, speaking, or acting. There's no perfect law to follow, and it's not the right way to live. The real understanding of unity comes from knowing the truth deep within ourselves, following scientific laws. It's about understanding the true nature of both the Creator and what's been created and aligning our actions with it. This understanding helps us see that everything truly good. It allows us to act rightly and in harmony with the power of good in the world. On the other hand, the wrong way of thinking glorifies false ideas about what things would be like if God wasn't the ultimate truth. But the true way of thinking recognizes and presents the true nature of everything, always starting from the idea that everything is inherently good. Divine science teaches that creation is how the Creator expresses itself. It reveals the law that turns invisible things into visible ones. Since this law is one, everyone must see the unity and know the truth to experience its fulfillment within themselves. In the Bible, John 3:16, 17, and John 1, 3 talk about God and how He's seen as three parts that make one whole, like a team. There's the Creator, who makes everything, the action of creating, and what's been created. This trio has always been together and always will be. In simpler terms, it's like saying humans are made up of three parts: being, what they are; doing, their actions; and the results of those actions. Or you could think of it as I am, thinking and I speak, expressing. If we think about a super powerful source that's behind everything, it makes sense that it would be super smart and have endless ideas. It's like when someone comes up with a cool invention, they had to be smart to think of it and then put the idea into action. So it's logical to say that this super source is both super smart and full of ideas. And if humans are part of this whole system, then they must have some of that smartness and creativity too. To live life fully and follow its rules, you need to start somewhere. And that starting point needs to have intelligence and ideas. You have to know what you're capable of and have an idea of what you want to achieve. In the Bible, there are verses like John 15:13 and Revelations 22, 2 that talk about deep things. They say that humans are made up of three parts: what causes things to happen, the actions they take, and the results of those actions. It's like how a tree has roots, a trunk and branches, and all these parts together make the whole tree. Just like the tree's parts are always together and not separated by space. Humans are made of being, action, and result, and they all go together. Humans aren't split into different qualities or levels of consciousness. They're one thing, pure spirit all the way through. Everything about them, the being, the actions, and the results, are all important and make up who they are. We shouldn't try to separate these parts or come up with theories that divide what God has put together. The rule of three helps us understand how everything works. It shows us how the things we can't see, like thoughts and ideas, turn into the things we can see, like the world around us. Each person can say, I am connected, like a branch to a vine. The roots of the vine represent our connection to God. The trunk is like each individual person through whom God's power flows to make things happen. And the branches are like all the different people who make up the bigger group, like followers of Christ. This way of thinking shows that the body, our physical selves, is just as important as the spirit. It's all part of the same thing. And divine science always sticks to this idea, never straying from it when explaining life or understanding the Bible. There's only one law that comes from the source of everything, and it's powerful all by itself. This law always shows what's true about itself in what it creates. Thinking that things are unequal goes against what's true. It's like how the number 1 is the foundation of all other numbers. It's where they all come from. Similarly, in science, it's important to understand that there's only one supreme being who's the source of everything in the world, and all the different forms we see come from that one source. Just like how all numbers are based on the number 1, in divine science everything is based on one single being or Holy Spirit, even though there are lots of different forms in the world. When we talk about expression, we're really talking about things coming out or being brought forth. So when we talk about the visible universe and everything in it, we're saying that it's all been created by the Creator. This word expression applies to both the big picture of the whole universe and to individual things in it. When we talk about expressing, we mean doing something, and expressed is what happens because of that action. So, when something's alive, it's what's been brought into existence through action. Creation is what's been made by the Creator. The law of expression is how the Creator makes creation or shows it to us. This law helps us understand the connection between the Creator and what's been created, like how one thing leads to another. Think of it like this. One thing causes something to happen, then there's the action itself, and finally there's what happens as a result. So 1 is the cause, 2 is the action, and 3 is the result. This law works from things we can't see to things we can, from ideas to real-life examples, from the inside to the outside. Heaven is when what's outside matches what's inside, when 2 things become 1. To explain this, let's look at numbers. The highest thing comes first, then what comes next, and finally, there's the example that shows how it all works together. In the science of numbers, examples are like the visible proof of the invisible ideas behind them. They're both the idea and what shows it's true. So one idea leads to 2 solutions, which then leads to 3 examples, all showing how they relate to each other. In divine science, the main idea is that God is the highest, like the first step in a ladder from which everything else comes. Creation, meaning all the things in the world, is like a way of showing who God is. It's like when an artist creates a painting, the painting shows what the artist is like. Now let's think about math. In math, the examples you solve are like finished pieces of work that come from the main idea or principle. They're like the answers that prove the main idea is true. The main idea is the source of these examples. It's what makes them possible. It's like if you're solving a math problem, you use the main idea to figure out the answer. And if you understand how the main idea works, you'll get the right answer every time. When we look closely at this, we see that there's no separation between the main idea and the examples. It's like they're all part of the same thing. No one would say that the examples aren't as good as the main idea, they're just different ways of showing the same thing. The main idea is like the rule or the law, and the examples always follow that rule perfectly. Their job is to represent the main idea accurately. In the world of business, mathematicians rely on a simple rule: follow the steps according to the main principle to get the perfect result. They don't waste time trying to fix mistakes or figure out where they went wrong. Instead, they start fresh, following the principle again until they get it right. This is the only way to make sure the answer is correct. Mistakes don't help, they just get in the way. In divine science, everything in creation is seen as made up of 3 things: spirit, substance, and spiritual things that can only be understood with a spiritual mindset. Living things like us are proof of spirit or God. They show that spirit exists. This is true understanding. Things that exist aren't what caused spirit to exist. It's the other way around. Spirit is what caused everything to exist. People who truly understand this know that they and God are connected, not separate. They live their lives in harmony with this understanding, and everything falls into place perfectly. When we look closely at this idea, we see that saying spirit is separate from the body or form is wrong. They're all part of the same thing. This law shows us how to finally feel at one with everything. When we understand this, we realize that living things made by God are complete and perfect reflections of Him. They show that God's nature is the only rule, and creatures always fit perfectly with their creator. Their purpose is to express where they came from. Just like in science, there's no special rule to get the perfect result, except to live and act based on the truth that everything is good. According to John 1:17, it's not helpful to keep following wrong beliefs about being separate from everything, hoping to find truth and perfect results. Instead, we need to stop thinking or trying from that angle and start fresh with a mindset of unity. This is the only way to show that everything is connected to its source and to honor God on earth. Mistakes don't lead us anywhere useful. Now that we understand the law of expression, let's not ignore the truth. Instead of saying that when we see someone's body, we don't see them at all, let's recognize that the person's body is a visible expression of who they are. To understand this, we need to see that the body is made of the same stuff as everything else in the universe and reflects the ideal and spiritual form. Jesus said that if we knew him, we would know God too. This means that there's one God who's the creator, another aspect of God who's creating, and then what's been created. So everything is now shown to be part of the same whole. God is the creator, the creative action, and the creation itself. Let's realize that when we truly understand ourselves, we're also understanding God, because there's no one else but God who expresses himself through creation. This lesson teaches us that direct expression, like what we see in the world around us, is a law that's always at work. So the things created aren't where humans come from. They're just examples that show how the main idea works. When we see a problem, we should know that it's part of the main idea and is expressed in the example. So the main idea is the source, and it includes the problem and is shown in the example. The demonstration of the problem comes from the action of the main idea, proving that the main idea is the law and basis of expression. From divine knowledge, we understand that creation is how the one creator expresses himself, and it's clear that the creator includes both being a father and having children. Think about it this way. The demonstration of being a father, which is part of the creator, comes from the creator's act of creating. This proves that there's a law that governs how things are expressed in being children. Every possibility that exists in being can first be thought about and then spoken into existence. It might seem like there are two different things happening, one before the other. But remember, the eternal being is there even before it starts thinking. Its thoughts are just the truth about what it is. According to Acts 15:18 and 1 Corinthians 14:33, thoughts come before words. When you think about something, you give it a form by speaking about it. So, when we talk about the Creator, the act of creating and what's been created, it's like saying, I exist, I think, I speak. This shows how things come into being according to the law of expression. They're brought out or caused to exist as a form. The law of the Lord is just as true as a well-known mathematical rule that says the whole is equal to the sum of all its parts. This means that being is equal to infinity, all of everything. Whatever exists has the power to be forever, so there's no end to anything in the whole of existence. Imagine a part of you that has always existed, even before you began to do anything. This special part is your consciousness. It's like a light inside you that helps you understand yourself and express who you are. Your consciousness is what makes you aware of yourself and the world around you. It's like having a little voice inside your head that guides you and helps you make sense of things. This awareness of yourself and your surroundings is what makes you unique. Think of it like this. Before you even speak or move, your consciousness is already there, quietly observing and experiencing everything. It's what allows you to think, feel, and be aware of your existence. Your consciousness is also what gives you the ability to express yourself. Whether it's through words, actions, or even just a smile, you can share your thoughts, feelings, and ideas with others because of your consciousness. Before you act or think about anything, you exist. You're there. Then you think or do something, and only after that, you speak or produce something. So you're the source and reason for your thoughts and words. They come from you. That means you're always in charge. Your thoughts and words don't control you. When we talk about results, we mean something that's finished or complete. Your thoughts become finished when you express them in words. According to St. Paul, there's only one spirit and one body. Divine science confirms this to be true through careful analysis based on the main idea. The absolute statement that God and what God creates are the only real things suggests that there's action involved. After all, something that exists on its own couldn't create anything without taking some action. So between just being and actually existing, there's action. We need to understand this action properly to understand how being and existing are related to each other. By looking at divine mind, spirit, or creator as God, we can see how the law of expression works. Expression always happens in a certain way. It starts from the invisible and goes to the visible. In this idea, mind, mentality, and visibility mean the same thing as spirit, soul, and body, or as creator, creating, and creation. So, if we break it down, we start with one mind, one spirit, one creator. Then we have two mentality, or two living soul, or two creating. And finally, we end up with three visibilities, three body, three creations. This law works from within us, going outward, using our mentality. Mentality isn't just about thoughts, it's everything our mind needs to express itself perfectly. It's what makes us who we are, and it shows that we're always connected to God. There's no me without God, who's the only source and reason for everything. In the ancient words of Genesis, our inner essence is compared to the stars in the sky. Let's break down this beautiful metaphor in simple terms. Imagine looking up at the night sky. You see countless stars, each shining brightly. In the language of Genesis, these stars represent our inner selves. Just like the stars, we are each unique and special. But there's more to it. Just as the stars are spread out across the vastness of space, our individual selves are part of something much bigger. We are connected to each other and to the universe itself. This idea teaches us that we are not alone. We are part of a greater whole, like pieces of a puzzle coming together to form a beautiful picture. Our thoughts, feelings, and actions are all connected to the larger tapestry of existence. Each of us is like a center of action within the vastness of the universe, similar to stars shining in the night sky. Understanding the challenges and questions of life is crucial for everyone. The law of expression, when fully grasped, holds immense value for you. It's the very process through which your existence unfolds. Therefore, it's essential to use this understanding to discover your genuine and balanced connection, not just with your origin and reason for being, but also with other people. In the world, we see signs of God's presence all around us. Just as there's order in the universe, we need to keep our lives in order too. Let's explore why maintaining this order is important for facing life's challenges and finding true freedom. Think about how the world works. Everything seems to have its place and purpose, from the rising sun to the changing seasons. This order isn't random, it's carefully balanced and maintained. Similarly, we need to maintain balance and order in our own lives. Life can throw all sorts of challenges our way, big ones and small ones. But when we keep our lives in order, it becomes easier to face these challenges. It's like having a roadmap to navigate through life's twists and turns. We know where we're headed and how to get there. Maintaining order isn't about controlling every little thing. It's about finding balance and harmony in our thoughts, actions, and relationships. When we do this, we experience true freedom. We're not weighed down by chaos and confusion. Instead, we're free to be our best selves and live our lives to the fullest. In the book of Deuteronomy, there's a verse that tells us to see ourselves as part of something bigger, like the spirit of wholeness. Let's explore this idea and how it relates to the way we view our bodies. Imagine your body as a temple, a sacred place where the spirit of wholeness resides. This idea challenges the common belief that our experiences are only shaped by external physical things. Instead, it suggests that our bodies are connected to something greater. When we see ourselves in this way, it changes how we think about our experiences. We realize that our thoughts, feelings, and actions are not just influenced by what's happening around us. They're also influenced by the spirit of wholeness within us. This perspective encourages us to take care of our bodies and treat them with respect. Just like we would take care of a temple, we should nurture our bodies and keep them healthy and strong. But it goes beyond just physical health. Seeing our bodies as temples of God reminds us of our inner strength and resilience. It empowers us to overcome challenges and live our lives with purpose and meaning. Believing that our well-being depends solely on physical causes can lead to confusion, as it goes against the idea that God brings order, not chaos. Instead, let's deeply understand and then live by the law of expression. According to this law, God created humans to reflect His own goodness. So when we look at each other, let's see the goodness that's within us all. In the book of Hebrews, there's a verse that tells us about the rules that govern our actions, but it also reminds us of something important, that we're connected to something greater. Think about it like this. Imagine you're following the rules of a game. Every action you take has to follow those rules. In the same way, our actions in life follow certain rules or laws. But here's where it gets interesting. When we realize that we're connected to God, who's the source of everything, including the rules that govern our actions, we see things differently. We understand that we're not controlled by those rules. Instead, we become part of something bigger. It's like being the rule itself. We're not just following the rules, we're living in alignment with the source of those rules. This gives us a sense of freedom and power. We're not bound by limitations. We're guided by a deeper connection to the source of all things. This perspective shifts how we view our actions and choices. We realize that we have the ability to shape our lives according to the divine laws that govern the universe. We become co-creators of our reality, empowered by our connection to God. In the books of Ephesians and Colossians, there are verses that teach us about God's law and how it relates to us. It's important for everyone to understand and follow this law. Imagine God's law as a guiding principle, like a map that leads us to Him. But it doesn't stop there. In Ephesians 3:9 and Colossians 1:16, we learn that because we have God's nature and grace within us, we actually fulfill that law. It's like having the key to unlock the door to understanding. This idea is crucial because it shows us how things are meant to work properly. When we live in alignment with God's law, we experience harmony and fulfillment in our lives. It's like everything falls into place and we find true purpose and meaning. For students, understanding this law is especially important. It's not just about memorizing facts and figures. It's about understanding the deeper principles that govern the universe. When we grasp the importance of God's law, we see how it applies to everything we do and understand. 17 years ago, the author had a spiritual insight into a law that felt undeniably true, a law that encompassed everything and had no room for error. They understood that once people grasped and lived by this law, it would free them from all false beliefs about God, humanity, and the universe. This law, taught exclusively in divine science, proves the complete unity of God and humans. It serves as the foundation for clear thinking, divine order, and practical application in every situation. It sets divine science apart and sheds light on its teachings. In the past, the word soul has been used in many different ways, often without a clear meaning or practical use. In scientific teachings, it's important to define terms precisely to apply them accurately. Using other words that have the same meaning as soul can give us a fresh perspective on the concept. Soul has often been thought of as something that could either be saved and experience eternal happiness, or be lost and face eternal suffering. It was believed that one's actions in life determined whether they would be rewarded or punished after death. However, these ideas aren't based on solid principles and aren't scientifically sound. In truth, soul refers to the eternal idea that exists within divine mind. the potentiality of creation, individuality, and divine mentality. When understood in relation to our existence, these concepts are essentially the same as soul. The soul is active and sometimes referred to as the living soul. When we think about ourselves, we often consider our spirit, soul, and body as separate parts. But what if I told you that we are not just something that possesses these parts? We actually are spirit, soul, and body. This idea might surprise some people and challenge what they believe. For a long time, there has been a lot of assumed knowledge about the nature of human beings. Many people have been taught to think of themselves as having a spirit, a soul, and a body, each with its own distinct role. However, this perspective overlooks the deeper truth of our existence. In reality, we are a unity of spirit, soul, and body. Each aspect of our being is interconnected and inseparable from the others. Our spirit is the essence of who we are, our soul encompasses our thoughts, emotions, and will, and our body is the physical vessel through which we experience the world. Understanding ourselves in this way challenges traditional beliefs about human nature. It invites us to see ourselves as holistic beings, where each part is essential to our identity and experience. Accepting these statements means recognizing unity. And this unity is what the law of expression is all about. It's like saying the whole is equal to the sum of its parts. In science, the word expression isn't used in a narrow way. It doesn't just mean something like, what a beautiful expression, or what an interesting expression. It refers to all the visible forms and results that come from a source or cause. The way things show up in the universe proves how universal this expression is. Throughout this lesson, we see examples of the Trinity, the fixed order of the universe. To accept that we're the totality of this Trinity means we can express our true nature in everything we do. These three, spirit, soul, and body, make up wholeness, and they've always existed together, but they're not interchangeable. Everywhere and always, the Creator includes action and creation. Principle includes solution and example, and being includes doing and result. Imagine a puzzle where each piece fits perfectly with the others to create a complete picture. Similarly, spirit, soul, and body are like pieces of a puzzle that come together to form wholeness. They've always existed together, each playing its unique role in shaping who we are. But it's important to understand that these three aspects of our being are not interchangeable. They each have their own distinct characteristics and functions. Spirit is the essence of our being. Soul encompasses our thoughts and emotions, and body is our physical form. Think of it like this. Imagine a creator crafting a masterpiece. In every act of creation, there's action and intention. Similarly, the Creator, whether it's the universe or a divine being, included action and creation in forming our wholeness. Furthermore, consider the principles that govern our existence. Within these principles lie solutions and examples for us to follow. Just as a principle guides us toward a solution, our soul guides us toward understanding and examples to learn from, and finally, being encompasses both doing and result. Our actions and decisions shape our being, and in turn, our being influences what we do and the results we achieve. Our sense of harmony and happiness depends on how well we understand and apply this divine order. We wouldn't accept anything less. Consider the teachings of someone who tried to flip the order in math and set an example, claiming that the body was the source of soul or spirit. We shouldn't accept the idea that the brain is where the mind, ideas, intelligence, or thoughts come from either. It's crucial to stick to the true order when applying life principles or understanding our existence. We always want to follow the right order, whether in math or in our daily dealings. In divine science, it's especially important to live in harmony with our true nature. When we interact with others, it's vital to see the inner truth reflected in the outer, to see the body as connected to the spirit, which helps us maintain overall health and well-being. This trinity, The unity of spirit, soul, and body shows how we directly reflect the one self-existing source and cause in all aspects of life. It also dispels the idea that our growth is always beyond what we are now, that it's always greater than our current state. In reality, our growth is always in line with our potential, because visible human existence is a reflection of its source. Expression falls under the category of result or creation. Just by existing, a person shows that they are alive. The fact that they're alive proves they have life, and because the body is a result, it shows that there's a cause behind it. When Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead or spoke with Moses and Elias, he understood the true nature of being. When we look at the world around us, we often use the word visibility to describe everything we see. But there's more to it than meets the eye. Let's delve into the concepts of mentality and mind to understand the deeper essence of science. Think of mentality as the creative force behind everything in creation. It's the way the creator expresses their nature through all forms of action and creation. Whether it's the growth of a flower or the formation of a star, mentality is at work, shaping the world around us. Now consider the concept of mind. It encompasses everything, the self-existing essence, all actions, and all results. It's like the complete picture in which we exist, guiding our understanding of the universe and our place within it. Visibility, mentality, and mind form the foundation of science. They allow us to explore and make sense of the world, uncovering its mysteries and unlocking its potential. None of these aspects of the Trinity come from experience. They're inherent. To God, experience is a way of expressing oneself. Let's explore how our mentality encompasses various faculties and has the ability to transform ideas into tangible realities. Think of mentality as the inner workings of our minds, encompassing a range of faculties such as thoughts, feelings, intellect, reason, and will. Each of these aspects plays a unique role in shaping our perception of the world and influencing our actions. When these faculties work together in harmony, they have the remarkable ability to create images or forms. These images represent the ideas and concepts that exist within our minds, waiting to be brought into the physical realm. But here's where it gets interesting. Through the power of our mentality, we can turn these images into tangible things. Whether it's building a bridge, composing a song, or writing a story, our thoughts and actions have the power to shape the world around us. This concept highlights the incredible potential that lies within each of us. Our mentality is not just a passive observer of the world. It's an active force that has the ability to bring about meaningful change. The human body is an incredible thing. It's not just a collection of parts. It's a harmonious system that works together seamlessly, but there's more to it than meets the eye. Let's delve into how the human body reflects the eternal nature of humanity and serves as an outward expression of creativity. When we think about the human body, we're talking about visibility, the tangible, physical aspect of our existence. Our bodies are made up of various parts, bones, muscles, organs, that all come together to form a cohesive whole. This unity showcases the eternal nature of humanity, demonstrating how we're all interconnected and interdependent. But there's something deeper at play here. Our bodies aren't just random collections of cells and tissues. They're the outward manifestation of a creative idea, the soul of things, if you will. Just as a painting reflects the artist's vision and skill, our bodies reflect the creative force that brought us into existence. Consider the intricacies of the human body. The way our muscles move, our hearts beat, and our lungs breathe. It's a testament to the beauty and complexity of creation. Our bodies are a canvas upon which the divine idea of humanity is brought to life. Everything that exists does so because there's something making it happen. In divine science, we use a timeless rule. The whole is the same as the sum of all its parts. Being equals all action and result. For students of divine science, it's like finding a peaceful retreat, a real practical religion whenever they need it. This is shown by the many people who are healed and the successful students who become healers. There's no limit to the good that can come from studying and understanding divine science. It never fails. The concept of the Trinity, also known as the law of expression, offers a profound insight into the relationship between the body and spirit. The body is not separate from spirit, but rather an expression of it, much like a branch connected to a vine. Think of the Trinity as a guiding principle that reveals the interconnectedness of all things. It encompasses the idea that there are three aspects of divine nature: Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, working together in perfect harmony. Now, consider the human body. It's easy to see it as something separate from spirit, but according to the Trinity, this isn't the case. Instead, the body is just spirit expressed. It's like a branch extending from a vine. It's an integral part of the spirit, not separate from it. This perspective challenges the notion of dualism, which suggests that the body and spirit are distinct and separate entities. Instead, it highlights the inherent unity between the two. When we see the body as an expression of spirit, it changes how we perceive ourselves and the world around us. We begin to recognize the divine presence within us and appreciate the interconnectedness of all things. So let's remember, unity is always the right place to start, the foundation we build on. It's solid ground that we should never forget. It's easy for people to forget their true essence, but it's important to remember what kind of beings we truly are. We're deeply connected to God, and nothing exists separately from Him. Think of it like this. Imagine a giant web where everything is interconnected. Each thread represents a different aspect of creation, but they're all connected to the same source. In the same way, we are all connected to God, the ultimate source of existence. This connection isn't just something abstract. It's a fundamental truth that shapes our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. When we recognize our connection to God, it changes how we see ourselves and others. We realize that we're part of something much bigger than ourselves, and that gives us a sense of purpose and belonging. It's important to recognize that all living things, whether visible to our eyes or not, come from one living source. This source is the origin of everything in the universe, and it governs the law of expression that shapes the world around us. Think of the universe as a vast tapestry, with each living being as a thread woven into its fabric. Every plant, animal, and organism is connected to this single source of life, forming a beautiful and unified whole. The law of expression from this source is what brings the universe into existence. It's the force that gives rise to all forms of life and shapes the world we inhabit. From the smallest microbe to the grandest galaxy, everything in the universe is a manifestation of this law. When we understand this interconnectedness, it changes how we see the world. We realize that we are not separate from the universe, but rather integral parts of it. This recognition fosters a sense of unity and harmony, both within ourselves and with the world around us. The omnipresent Spirit, God, is always working to express itself through the visible world. Let's affirm, I am boundless in my existence, in my actions, and in the results of what I do. My body is made of spiritual substance, in the shape of limitless ideas. My eyes see the truth, and I understand the perfect law of freedom. My divine nature guides me in everything I do. I recognize goodness in all my actions, and I walk paths of peace. I am part of the eternal, living in the truth and love that never fade. When you hear it again, you'll notice it's talking about something simple yet crucial, the law of manifestation. This law outlines a 3-step process for turning ideas into reality, and everything we see around us is an expression of this law, revealing deeper truths about the world. So what is the law of manifestation? It's a principle that explains how things come into being. It operates in 3 steps. Step 1 is having an idea or a thought. This is where it all begins. Whether it's a dream, a goal, or a desire, every creation starts as a spark of inspiration in the mind. Step 2 involves belief and visualization. We need to believe in the possibility of our idea becoming real and visualize it with clarity and detail. This step is essential for bringing our ideas into the realm of possibility. Step 3 is taking action. Ideas alone are not enough. We need to take concrete steps toward realizing them. Action transforms our thoughts into tangible results and brings our ideas into reality. Everything we see around us, from the buildings we inhabit to the technology we use, is a form of expression guided by the law of manifestation. Each creation tells a story and reveals deeper insights about the human experience. This expression has 3 parts, kind of like pieces of a puzzle that fit together. When we look at everything around us, we should think about all these parts working together. Imagine this. Everything you see started as a thought that you can't see, something invisible. It comes from somewhere beyond what we can observe, and we're all part of this expression. Each of us is like a piece of a big puzzle. We're like focal points in this big picture called life, and we can see it happening all around us. It's like there's this one big idea, this feeling of oneness that connects everything. It's like we're all different parts of one big thing showing itself in many different ways. Whether it's the creator, the creation, or the creatures, like us, we're all connected in this expression. Picture the universe as a giant canvas, where every stroke of creation tells a story. It's not just a collection of stars and planets. It's a masterpiece in motion, showing us something much bigger than what we can see with our eyes alone. Just like an artist uses a canvas to express their thoughts and emotions, the universe is a platform for expression on a grand scale. Every celestial body, every atom, and every living being is a brushstroke in this cosmic masterpiece. But the beauty of the universe lies in its depth. It's not just about what we can see with our eyes, it's about what lies beyond the surface. The universe reveals mysteries and wonders that challenge our understanding and expand our perception of reality. When we gaze up at the night sky, we're not just looking at stars, we're witnessing the unfolding of the cosmos. Each twinkling light is a reminder of the vastness and complexity of the universe, inviting us to explore its depths and unlock its secrets. Now, how do we apply this law? How do we make use of it? Well, first, we need to realize that what we see as causes, like one thing leading to another, isn't always straightforward. It's not just A leads to B leads to C. There's something more to it, a hidden cause behind everything. We need to be mindful of this bigger picture. The expressions we see aren't just about simple cause and effect. If we look deeper, we can see the real reason why things happen the way they do. It's like peeling back layers to uncover what's really going on. Everything around us is like a form of expression, a way of showing what's really going on beneath the surface. It's a bit like unraveling a mystery. It's easy to get swept up in what's going on in the world, the Caesar world of events and happenings. We tend to point to certain things as the reasons behind what's happening, but often those are just surface-level causes. In reality, there's something deeper at play, a thought or feeling that's driving it all. When we grasp this idea, we begin to unravel the mysteries of the law of expression. It's a concept that reveals how everything we observe is not just what it appears to be on the surface. Instead, it's a manifestation of something deeper, something hidden beneath the surface. Imagine peeling back the layers of an onion. At first glance, you see only the outermost layer, but as you peel away each layer, you uncover more and more of the onion's essence. Similarly, the law of expression teaches us to look beyond the surface and discover the hidden truths that lie beneath. Consider a beautiful piece of artwork. On the surface, you see colors and shapes arranged in a pleasing composition. But when you delve deeper, you begin to uncover the artist's intention, their emotions and their message. The artwork becomes more than just paint on a canvas. It becomes a window into the artist's soul. In the same way, everything we observe in the world around us is a reflection of something deeper. Whether it's the beauty of nature, the complexity of human relationships, or the wonders of the cosmos, there's always more than meets the eye. By understanding the law of expression, we open ourselves up to a deeper level of awareness and understanding. We see the world with new eyes, appreciating the hidden truths and mysteries that lie beneath the surface. By delving beneath the surface, we can unlock new insights and deepen our appreciation for the rich tapestry of life. Thank you for listening.